thank you for taking the time to do this interview. It's a great honor to be able to talk to you again. We talked before in Minneapolis last time Omnium Gatherum was here at the 7th Street Entry.
Yeah, now I remember. The drummer guy was like familiar name, so now I remember.
Oh, fantastic. But of course, we're here to discuss the brand new album that's going to be coming out very soon. I've only been able to hear Frontiers so far, and of course, we're at the Skyline. Would you say those two songs are a good representation of what the new album is going to sound like?
Well, yes and no. I would say that Skyline was maybe the most different kind of songs from the album, so we were a little bit like assholes, and we wanted to release like the most different kind of song as a first taster. Just to be badasses. But I think Frontiers is more like giving like a vision what kind of soundscape on the new album there is, and I think that sums up pretty well the new album. It's the melodies, the aggression and all this, but there's also like a lot of more epic stuff on the album, so you have to hear it by yourself.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm definitely looking forward to picking this one up as well, and of course getting a promo from Century Media so I can start promoting it in full as well. With the Frontiers being the first single, what made that want to be the first representation of the new album?
I think Frontiers is something pretty much what's happening on the album. There's like all this aggressive death metal, which meets like this melodic side, more like Toto side of Omnium Gatherum, and then there's this Finnish melancholy, and then there's some guitar hero moments. So I think that's a good combination of what that album includes. And on top of that, it's a good song, so why not?
So with all that said, you also got a European tour coming up with Draconian. What made that all come together?
Yeah, well, in fact, I'm leaving that tour like in 6 hours.
Oh wow!
We are flying to Germany like in the night, and the tour starts in Thursday. So it will be first like 2 weeks with Draconian co-headline tour, and then we are extending this tour as a direct support for Finnish band Amorphis. So it's gonna be total 4 weeks on the road, which we are looking very much forward, and it's pretty much the correct time when the album comes out this week. Then we are immediately hitting the road.
Oh, I didn't even realize that Amorphis was a part of it as well. That is a very cool combination to be able to tour with 3 different representations of the European metal and all having great melodic feels to them as well. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, really looking forward. I think the packages are great. Gonna be good gigs and good times.
Oh, absolutely.
And Draconian are Swedish, so it's always this Finland versus Sweden competition, which is always nice. As we've been touring a lot with Dark Tranquillity, it's always this Finnish-Swedish championships in metal. And it's the country's joke. Sweden always wins Finland in ice hockey, but in metal, I think we are better. That's just my humble opinion.
Oh, of course. With that said, though, about of the European tours, is there any chance of anything coming back to the United States?
Yeah, there's a really good possibility that we are coming to United States later in this year. In fact, at the moment, we are already confirmed one tour, but I cannot say anything yet because it's not published yet.
Oh, sure.
But it's going to be a big tour, and looking forward to it.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm glad to see you guys coming back, too, for your 3rd run with that as well.
Yeah.
I know America really enjoys you guys, and I know the Minnesota show is a good representation of that, and I know that happens all across the country.
Yeah, it's like before the previous album, Beyond, we haven't visited like USA at all, and with the Beyond album, we did these 2 tours in the USA, and we just noticed that there's a really good potential fan base for Omnium Gatherum already, and there was really good gigs and nice people. So, and now we got this Century Media USA deal, so we just really have to come there as soon as we can, as much as we can.
Oh, fantastic! Of course, you guys are going to be playing Frontiers live. Is there anything else from the new album that's going to be played live on this upcoming European tour?
Oh yeah, a lot of songs. We already started because the Finnish release of the album came like a week earlier. We already had Finnish album release gigs, 4 gigs so far, and we played like maybe 6 songs from the new album, and all the new songs are really working in live situations. So we're definitely going to play a lot of them in the sets on the upcoming tours. And of course, it's always much more fun for the band to play new songs than the old classics that we've played millions of times. But of course, there will be also the oldies and the goldies in the set.
Oh, that's great to hear. With the new album, is all the songs having a chance to be able to be played live, or are you just focusing on particular songs that'll be played live off the new one?
We've been rehearsing all the songs for live, so we are ready and able to play either one of the songs.
Oh, that's
live.
great.
And that's Omnium Gatherum is really like a live band. We always need to get the songs working as a playing in a band. So before we went to studio, so we pretty much can do all the songs live. We are still like a real band and not like a computer band that we are just doing albums and demos with the computer and never play live. We are old school.
And I love hearing that as well, because my favorite albums are the ones where the bands are not afraid to play any of the songs live, that they are happy about every song that's on every album, and at any time, any of the songs could be played, and it's great to hear that the new album will have that representation as well.
Yeah, like for example, last year we did 2 gigs in Finland, which was called like an evening with Omnium Gatherum, and we played the whole Beyond album and the whole new World Shadows album, like all the songs from those 2 albums. Those were pretty cool gigs.
Oh, absolutely.
Something different.
Yeah, that definitely would be a great experience to see live, any of the Omnium Gatherum albums live. With that said, though, do you have more fun representing the newer side of Omnium Gatherum rather than going all the way back to, say, the first release?
I'm pretty much like, I always think that the newest album is the best album, and that's how I work, because I'm always competing with myself and I just have to beat the old work. So I like to play more of these new songs. Of course, there's like few older songs which I really enjoy playing live, but like you see, we've been playing the old songs forever, so it gets boring sometimes. Like, we haven't been playing from the 3 first albums nothing lately. So in that way, we are bad boys, because fans usually love also the old stuff. And we've been concentrating also only for the 4 newest albums, but it always depends on the tours, and we're trying to keep the setlist interesting and change the songs a lot.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what is most important, is being able to be happy on stage, playing the music that you want to hear, and also making sure that the fans at the show will be happy as well.
Yeah, of course I understand these people who wants to hear the old classics, like for the bands like Iron Maiden always plays Number of the Beast and Trooper, and Black Sabbath have to play Iron Maiden and Iron Man and Paranoid, but it might get boring for the band, and if the band is not having a good time on stage, how the people could have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Besides the touring that is about to commence in Europe, and the tour that I'm sure will get announced in the near future coming back here to America, is there any other plans that's going on with Omnium Gatherum this year?
There's a lot of like touring plans going on. I think we are doing another longer European tour in the fall on top of this North American tour, and then we are having a lot of festivals in the summer, and we are trying to get also Asia and Australia covered. So we are pretty much working with the world tour right now. With the Beyond album, we did about 150 gigs in 3 different continents, so I think that's the name of the game again. We love to play live, and that's why we are playing in a band, because concerts are where the fun is. It's not funny to be in the studio and doing all the takes millions of times. Stage is where the fun is.
Oh, absolutely, and it's so very clear when you see Omnium Gatherum live that you guys are having so much fun on stage, and it just makes for such a fun show. It was one of my favorite shows that I saw last year, was Omnium Gatherum and Insomnium in Minneapolis, because it just represented both sides of what I love listening to in melodic music, and it just made for an awesome show.
Oh, thanks, man. It's like we had a good chemistry and friendship in the band, so just having a good time. So, and I think it can be seen on the live. We are not so boring, melancholic, usual death metal guys. We are more having like a rock spirit on stage and having a good time. Even the music is true and evil.
So with the new album, was everything that's on the record all that was written for the album, or is there any songs that might be used in a new release in the future?
There is one bonus song that we haven't released yet, one hidden song. But we are doing something with that, so we'll definitely be releasing some single in the future maybe. And then we did this old song from the first album called Onslaught, which was like released as a vinyl bonus and also Japanese bonus in the CD. And we kind of celebrated the 15-year anniversary of that song, so that's why we recorded it.
Oh, that is very cool to hear. Did you keep it true to what the original release was?
Pretty much, except the vocals are a bit different because there is another vocalist. Jukka wasn't in the band back then when we first recorded that song, so the vocals are different.
Oh, sure. But that is really cool to hear that you're going back and showing the appreciation for the older material as well. Is there any chance of doing anything else like that in the future with other older songs as anniversaries come up?
Oh, yeah, well, maybe. Why not? That was really fun to dig that grave up and do the old song again, so we'll see what comes. Not any particular plans, but living in the moment, living for the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes those releases might be boring, that some bands are like, no names mentioned, but like Manowar did this Battle Hymns album, re-recorded the whole album, and I think that's pretty weird. And many bands are doing this complete albums, doing remakes from the old songs, and sometimes it works. Like Testament First Strike Still Deadly album was like really awesome re-recordings for the old songs, but it's not always great.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I see the appeal of why bands would want to do that because of updated technology to be able to get better production. But like you said, not every time it works, but when it does work, it is cool to see.
Yeah, Testament is a really good example. I love that album, and I think the new versions are even better than the old ones. Even you can't say that. But
oh, yes, First Strike Still Deadly is one of the first Testament albums I ever got, and made me go back and appreciate the older material as well, but I loved hearing the re-recorded versions of that. It just felt a lot heavier, and it felt a lot more modern to be able to get that nice thrash sound that they got going for the sound today.
Yeah, definitely. And then Anthrax did this same thing, I think, about the same year. It was Studio Live, they played old songs, but A Greater of Two Evils. But that wasn't as great as Testament. I like the older Anthrax songs better than that. So, like I said, it depends on the case.
Oh, absolutely. So with the new album, what would you say is the biggest difference between the recording of the last album and the recording of this album?
Biggest difference?
So as far as like as far as like the production or the songwriting or anything that's changed in the last few years?
Not exactly. We used the same studios and same engineers with the past 3 albums, and basically everything has been same. I've been doing the songs pretty much ready at my home studio, and then just send the raw stuff to the boys, and all the guys are getting their spices up, and then we are going to rehearsal camp to the forest here nearby Kotka. That's in fact true, even it sounds like a cliche, but we always go to rehearse in a forest to one isle, to summer cabin, and that's where the magic happens.
It's definitely a cool way to be able to do that too, to be able to head out there and just make the magic of Omnium Gatherum happen before you hit the stage live.
Yeah, breathe the forest air and you got songs ready after that. But it's like, you need that kind of like relaxing atmosphere and calm, and there's no hurry to go anywhere, so that's the best place to rehearse at pressure.
Yeah, and that's definitely important too when you're rehearsing, because you don't want to think about all the outside problems and conflicts that could happen. You just want to go and be able to rehearse the songs that you want to be able to play live and have none of that pressure, and just be able to do what you need to do to make for a great show.
Yeah, correct. And then when you don't want to play, then you just can grab your beer and go to sauna or go fishing to the sea, so that's how our albums have been made.
Yeah, it's definitely
Fishing,
not a...
sauna, beer drinking, and metal.
Yeah, that's definitely a great way to go about it too, and it makes for some fantastic music as well.
Yeah, thanks. Genuine way to do it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna cut this a little short. That way, you are able to prepare for the next interview. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I cannot wait to check out the new album. I cannot wait to see you guys coming back to the United States on what I'm sure is going to be a fantastic tour. And it's been an honor to be able to help promote the new album. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
Not exactly. Buy the album and support the Finnish punks.